Alright, so I was watching this video here from the Logic Junkie, and it kind of got me thinking. In the video, he was talking a lot about how he's wanting to basically try to find a different culture, leave America. To be honest, I'm not sure if that's going to help, but leave America to get away from the whole. I call it the 9 to 5 workist routine, and this is something I've seen repeatedly on YouTube from those of us who have struggled. I say struggled financially, but for me, it was becoming aware of the fact that, for me personally, it was never really about money. It was never about fooling myself. I can't fool myself. It's very hard for me to lie to myself. And I think that's true for a lot of us in the movement, and the Ron Paul, the YouTube, the freedom movement, whatever you want to call it, the non-aggression movement. We're different type of thinkers in that we can't bullshit ourselves any further. And so one of the key characteristics that I notice when I'm in conversations with a workist is basically they're putting all of their hopes and fears and desires, they're putting that responsibility on everyone else, on their government, on their boss, on their company that employs them. And they just feel like they're taught that if they take that step from A to B to C, then you will get A, B, and C. You will get exactly what you're supposed to get. So they keep their head down, they keep doing it like a good worker bee. And when we come along, we're sitting there, in their eyes, quote, unsuccessful, explaining why we don't like the way they do things. In some ways, effectively, that's what we're saying. And because these people, these workists, haven't had a lot of time with themselves to figure out who the hell they are, they don't know who the fuck they are, really. That's why it takes them so long to figure shit out. That's why they go through so many fucking wives or husbands. That's why women get married to men for money, because it takes them so long to figure out who the hell they are, because they're just too busy pounding the pavement with their head to the floor, doing their little worker bee, yes sir, doing what they're supposed to do. They never take the time to figure out who the fuck they are. And that's why society, in my opinion, the culture is changing now to where there's absolutely no concept of government harming us by taking away our liberties, our civil liberties, our rights, our individual and economic rights. They have absolutely no fear or concept of that even being a danger, because in their eyes, government's here to protect us. Government's here to make sure I keep my 9 to 5 job. I gotta have my 9 to 5 job. I've gotta have my mortgage. I've gotta have my car payments. I've gotta have my kids. I must have those 3 things. And my nice clothes. If I don't have those things, then I am nothing. Then I am worthless. But if I have those things, I need to stand up for government. Government's gonna protect me. And so it's a little bit like, Robert De Niro, where you're shaking back and forth and you're repeating these things. They're not doing that literally, but that's the way I view it. So I've had conversations with people. I consider myself unplugged. I question things. I'm sorry if that fucking upsets you. But yeah, I question things. I look at things. I question 9/11. I don't talk about it a lot on here, but I don't have a problem with people who question 9/11. I can be a truther. If I fucking want to be a truther, I will fucking be a truther. You know why? Because that's my fucking right. And it's the 9 to 5 workists. They don't want you to be a 9/11 truther. You can't be a truther because that upsets the apple cart. You're not doing what you're supposed to do. Get in line, you fucking slave. You're supposed to do what you're supposed to do. And shut the fuck up and get in line. That's what they want. And I'm sick of that crap. I'm not doing it. I've never really done it. Even when I was trying to do it, I couldn't do it. Leaving or getting fired or getting laid off from job after job. Who cares? So, long story short, thank God I was able to figure out and finally make some money online. Because now, I have to get rid of that whole stigma of being a loser first. Because they won't listen to you otherwise. But when you're successful and you're not a workist, that can kind of open up minds. Like, well, what do you do to make money? But I have to be careful with that because I'm not just going to come out and tell them. Like, no, I worked like 2.5, 3 years trying to figure out how to fuck to make money without a workist job. Now, you figure it out. I'm not going to make it that easy for you just to tell you. You wouldn't do it anyway. So that's pretty much it. That's all I got time for. See ya.